care of our tech support. So before we get started, we have to go through the disclaimer. Basically, the disclaimer saying we're not giving any buy, sell, hold recommendations. Everything we talk about in this webinar is for educational purposes only. So who am I? My name is David Kushner. I've been trading markets for over 25 plus years. I trade stocks, options, futures, Forex. My background was I had an automotive parts business that I started when I was 18 years old. Had that business for 28 years and sold it in 2005. And since then, I've been a full-time trader. Now, if you have any questions, just go ahead and put them in the questions box. Either myself or Rory will be answering them. So like most of you, you probably have a whole shelf full of indicators, trading systems that came with a lot of empty promises to help you become more profitable and more consistent trader. I know that I have probably 3 or 4 hard drives full of stuff that is totally useless, doesn't work. So when I saw a webinar that Mark Sachs did, and I saw the money flow tracker software system, I quickly realized that this methodology isn't based around the same old indicators that everybody else teaches, but based more on mathematical modeling and triple and quadruple screen analysis. We only trade with institutional money flow, and it's made me much more profitable, much more consistent trader, and now I'm running over a 70% win-loss rate. So the agenda for this webinar is how the money flow tracker software works, the high probability setups, the unbreakable rules, how I trade breakouts and sidestep losing trades, the money flow tracker auto trader, and how to pass the evaluations to become a funded trader. So for those who stay to the end of this presentation, it's around 45 minutes. You'll get a very special discount with additional software as quick action bonus. So why are you here? You're not getting the results you want yet? Well, look, you're not here to waste time, and neither am I. And you're not here to waste money, and you're sick of buyer's remorse. So what do I mean by sick of buyer's remorse? It means you buy a system, you trade with it, it works for a little bit, doesn't work, start having some losing trades, and you throw the system out. It's like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So show you a solution. To hit consistent winning trades, a solid performance that repeats daily. Look, the markets are here for us to extract money from them every day. It's our job to do that. So you need 4 things to create trading success. The first thing you need is a software that will give you a competitive edge over all other traders. The second thing you need is that edge to track the direction of money flow. Institutional money flow. So whenever I talk about order flow or money flow from this point on, I'm only talking about institutional money flow. The third thing is you need etched-in-stone rules to follow, and this will eliminate discretion. And the fourth thing you need is patience. Patience to let the trade set up. I'm going to break down the system in detail, but let me show some trades that we've taken in every day. So here's an option trade that I took for 139%. This was another one I took for 188%. Here's a trade that I took on 30-year bonds. Now this is 41 ticks. At 31.25 a tick is $1,281. Here's one on the euro. I can show you more trades and more trades, but is that really going to help you? Not really, right? So you're here because you probably have a problem making money. Why? You don't have the proper tools to efficiently manage trades. You overtrade, you revenge trade, you make impulsive decisions. This is a big one. You lack consistency. You trade with indicators that lag price. You also lack a mathematically proven trade methodology. And all these things lead to blowing up trading accounts. So my commitment to you is to bring this to an end. So why did I say that 95 to 98% of traders use following and go broke? Price action, MACD, Elliott wave, divergence, price patterns, Fibonacci's, GAN. None of these things have any future predictive properties. When I am not, and I'm going to repeat, I am not saying that the money flow tracker software can predict the future, because that would be ridiculous. Nothing can predict the future. But if you follow the rules, you have high probability setups. So Mark Sachs had over 35 years in the study of the field of applied mathematics. He was a professor at Jefferson University, and after 8 long years, he engineered the software system, trade methodology that can improve your trade performance called the Money Flow Tracker software. And we have over 500 traders that we trade shoulder to shoulder every day between our 3 trade rooms. So before we get started, I want to share my trade journal with you. So I use an online trade journal called EdgeRock, and every day I do my performance report, and I upload my trades into this program I download my trades from NinjaTrader into an Excel sheet, and then I drop the sheet in here, and I click on here, and it uploads everything into this program. It uploads the NinjaTrader trade ID, the entry time, the exit time, the instrument, everything right here. So here's my equity curve for this year. Okay, it's nice equity curve. We're up about 56,000. It's been a tough year for trading, especially the last 3 months. We have this is what we did. In July, we did 73.82. In June, we did 10,585. Huge difference than what we did last year. Last year, the markets were much better in the summer. Look what we did in the summer last year. We did 19,000 in June, 13,000 in July, and 12,000 in August. This year, totally different story. I don't know why. The markets are very choppy, and they've been choppy for quite a while. So let's keep moving on. So look, the markets consist of many small retail traders represented by these marbles, plus one or more large institutional trader represented by the big purple ball. So if you know that most retail traders lose money, why would you want to trade along with them? The institutions are the ones that move the market. We want to trade along with them. We don't want to trade along with retail traders. So the Money Flow Tracker software has 3 key metrics that determine money flow. The first one is triple screen assessment of order flow. The second one is triple screen assessment of correlative markets. And the third one is triple screen assessment of the LIQUIDITY. So what do I mean by triple screen assessment? It means that you have 3 time frames in agreement. So if you're trading a 2-minute, everything is in multiples of 3. Your mid time frame would be a 6, and your higher time frame would be an 18. So that's triple screen analysis, 3 time frames in agreement. So the first powerful force that moves price is triple screen analysis of order flow. So when I hear people say order flow, the first thing they do is they think of these order flow candles with all these numbers on the right, on the left, on the bottom, on the side, on the top. It's impossible for your brain to be able to make sense of all these numbers and still make good trading decisions. So what we did is we came up with our own order flow candles. And our order flow candles, we show that the color of the outline of the candle means that the delta of the candle is positive. And if the outline of the candle is red, means the delta of the candle is negative. So the way I look at it, and this is the way I teach people to look at it, if you're long, you want to see green outlines because you have more buyers than sellers in these candles. And if it's got a red outline, means you have more sellers than buyers in this candle. And I keep it super simple. And I've taught thousands of traders, believe me. So triple screen analysis of order flow means we want to see order flow going in the same direction on 3 time frames. So I put a screenshot of our charts in here because I wanted to show you how clean and simple our charts are to read. All our indicators are displayed by these colored line charts, except the one on the bottom, and I'll explain to you about what that one is in a little bit further on in this presentation. So we have very clean charts. The order flow candles are on here. There's no, well, it could be close to 80. It's not. It's either all red or all green, period. So the second powerful force moves price is the triple screen assessment of the LIQUIDITY for momentum and our hybrid candles, which we use the wicks. So again, triple screen assessment of LIQUIDITY is we want it going in the same direction on each time frame. and the wicks. So we're the only company that have the wicks inside Unorenco bars. So when you see a wick that opens from the previous candle's close, goes up the bar size and closes, and the next candle goes up, opens from the previous bar's close, goes up the bar size, these are momentum, acceleration. When you have a long wick in here, this is a pullback wick. And we use these to our advantage, and I'll show you a little bit further on in the presentation. So the modified Laguerre, what we did was we took all these indicators and we added an algorithm to them, and we developed what we call the modified Laguerre. So the modified Laguerre is an oscillator, but it does not show divergence. It only shows strength of trend. So when the modified Laguerre is represented by the bottom line, colored line. So when it crosses below 20, it will turn red. When it crosses above 20, it's sloping up, it'll be lime green. When it crosses above 80, it will be dark green. And when it crosses below 80, it will turn, and sloping down, it will be orange. Ultimately, we want to see it pinned at 100 or pinned at 0. So we get our acceleration dots. All right, so let's go to the next part of the system, the quant lines. Our quant lines use our AI program, and that's the third most powerful force that moves price. And what our quant lines are doing is they're examining 28 market components by the AI system for correlation. Now, most people understand what correlation is. Most people don't pay attention to correlation, but we do. Why? Because it's very powerful. You know, it's like if ES is going up, NQ is going up, RTY is going up, and YM is going down, what do you think is going to happen with YM? It's either going to stop going down, go sideways, or it's going to start following the market. So it's like the old saying, a rising tide floats all boats. Well, it's kind of same in the market. You know, when you have all the indexes going in the same direction, that's very powerful stuff. And most people don't pay attention to that. So the next thing we did was we decided that we needed to have 4 timeframes in agreement, not just 3 timeframes in agreement. It gives us higher probability trades, and it keeps us out of choppy, non-trending markets. So we developed the indicator that we call the C2 indicator. And basically all it does, it adds another time frame. So if you're trading a 2-minute, your mid would be a 6, your next time frame would be 18, and then 3 times 18 would be your highest time frame. And that indicator is displayed on the candles by this stair-stepping line going up. Okay, any questions so far? Or am I just doing a fantastic job explaining everything? All right, so it's green going up and red going down. So let's put it all together. Everything I just showed you, it's easier than you think. So the money flow tracker software, the rules and the setups. Rule number 1 is you have to have a colored background. Either green or dark pink means 3 time frames are in agreement when you have a dark green background. The next thing you want is the C2 indicator, so you have 4 time frames in agreement. The next thing you want to do is we have a solid line and a dot dash line. You always want to see the dot dash line below the solid line going up and above the solid line going down. If you run into resistance, also known as a pivot, a higher time frame support or resistance, the VWAP, whatever it is, okay, you must wait for 3/4 of a body of a candle to clear it, and you must wait for a pullback candle. And I'll explain to you why we wait for the pullback candle. Next rule is both quants need to be in agreement. The top one is a short one, the bottom one is a longer term, either red or green. The multiple time frame Laguerre, we want in agreement with the quants, either red or green. And the modified Laguerre, we want in agreement with everything else, and we want it pinned at 100 or 0 so we get the acceleration dots. So here's the setup. This trade here, we exited when the dot dash line changed color from green to yellow. 63 ticks on CL is $630 per contract. Yes, Sherry, it will be recorded. Okay, you will get the recording. Okay, so this is what I tell everybody, and this is what I preach, and this is what I do. Trading with the money flow tracker rules will keep you out of choppy, non-trending markets, which usually leads to losses. And that's where most traders lose money, trying to trade choppy, non-trending markets. So the software was designed to keep you out of those type of markets. So when I hear people tell me, hey, I made money one day and I lost it all the next day, and I made a little money the following day and I lost more money the next day. And at the end of the week, I'm like either lost a little money or made a little money. Well, that's not how it works. All right. So it's okay not to trade every day. I could go back and show you months that we didn't trade 4, 5, 6 days in the month, and we still had a great month. So those are the days where you lose money. Those are the days that frustrate the hell out of you. So here's a trade that I took on CL. It broke the pivot, missed this pullback handle, got this one. Entered my trade, took 10 ticks off the first target, that's $100, and 55 ticks on the exit on line change. So that's $650 on this one trade on CL. And this trade didn't even last a minute. It was just one of those trades that just kept going and going and going. Okay, so the money flow tracker software gives you clear and exact entries, clear and exact exits, and all targets are pre-configured by the ATMs that you will receive with your software purchase. So let me grab a little drink here, non-alcoholic. So I'm going to teach you how I trade breakouts with the money flow tracker software, and I call it the pull back and go strategy. So let me grab my pen here real quick. Grab a color you can see. Okay, so right here we have a pivot, and the shaded area is higher time frame support. You can see where market came down, it broke the pivot, 3/4 of the candle, and we get the pullback candle. So when this candle's pulling back about halfway, that's when we place our order to sell on down close. So why do we do that? Because a lot of times the markets will come down, break support, come back, retest it, and go the other way. All right. In this case, it didn't. But if this candle here closes up, this order will get canceled automatically. So when the market's running stops, we don't get caught in a whole lot of them. Once in a while we do, but when they're running stops, breaking support, running stops, we sidestep. We call it sidestep losing trades. We've had days when we sidestep 5, 6, 7 losing trades that we would have ended up losing money on. So by waiting for that pullback candle, it really saved us a lot of losses. And yes, sometimes we do miss a winning trade because we don't get the pullback candle. But the amount of trades that we sidestep losing trades far outweighs the amount of trades we might miss. Okay, so here's another example on RTY. It broke the pivot, got the pullback, placed the order, profit target 1, profit target 2. Here's another one on crude oil. Here's 2 of them on the Canadian dollar. All right, so now we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, the money flow tracker order trading strategy called the revolutions. And we just call it RERO for short. So I'm going to pull up the screenshot of it, the screen, and I'm going to explain to you what it does. So all the rules I just went over with you, right? So I'm going to load my template and I'm going to explain this to you, okay? Let's just do this here. So what was the rule number 1? Rule number 1 is you need to have the bias in the C2. So we turned it on because that's the rule. And because the auto trader does not wait for a pullback candle, I have the signal delayed by 1 bar. So I want to see the whole bar clear the pivot. Now the LIQUIDITY signal, we want it red or green, right? So we turn it on. The multiple time frame LIQUIDITY, we want red or green, so we turn it on. Not worried about volume threshold. These are just the moving averages. We want them all the same color. Now the MA diff, I'll explain to you what that is in a little bit, but we want to clear the pivots. We want to clear the volume zones, and we want the quants to be red or green. Now, let me move this out of the way here for a second. So this is a trade that it took for 704 ticks. Here's another trade that it took for 665 ticks. Here's another trade it took for 1,016 ticks, which was torture. It's very torturous watching these trades and knowing you're up 700, 600, 500 ticks and not want to take it. But if we follow the rules and follow the methodology, we can get a lot more out of the trades. Here's another trade it took for 792 ticks. So the MA, so I need to get to, okay, so let me grab my pen again real quick. So this number here, the first target, 81 ticks. Our first target is 80 ticks. Now, if there's not at least 81 ticks to this pivot, it will not take the trade. It will not trade into support or resistance. It will wait until 3/4 of the body clear the pivot, and then it will take the trade. So that's why the first target value is very important. It has built-in money management. So you can say, well, you know what? We have lots of people that subscribe to the Money Flow Tracker software that have jobs and still work, and they can't trade all day, so they subscribe just for the auto trader. And this is what I tell them to do. Set your profit target for the day at 1,000, set your loss for the day at 500, and if you hit your max, let's say you're in a trade and the trade's up 1,500. Well, it's not going to close it at 1,000. But once it closes that trade, it won't take another trade. Let's say you're in a trade and you're down 500. It's going to close that trade once you're down 500, period. So it's very versatile. You can have it, you can turn it on and off whenever you want. You can set the start time at 9:30. You can set the stop time at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, however you want to do it. And I had a trade this morning on it. It was like 200 ticks. Let me see. It was like 200 ticks. I don't know. I don't know what this is. All this nonsense is here. These aren't trades that I took. It's probably because I don't have my data feed set up correctly right now on this workspace. But it didn't take all those trades. I know that for a fact. Anyway, now I have a recording here of a trade that I took, and I recorded it because it hit my first profit target like really, really fast. And I felt like this was going to be one of these trades that is going to be a monster trade. So I'm just going to go fast forward. So it took the trade, and we're up 154 ticks. Right, we're up 202 ticks. We're up 339 ticks. Now, if you look in the top left-hand corner, you see where it says MA diff 304. Well, what the MA diff is it tells us how far away from the 50 are we. When we get too far away from the 50, we expect to pull back within a couple of candles. So I'm going to keep going fast forward. So we're up 435 ticks. Now, if you look at the MA diff now, it's at 371. I moved my stop closer to the market. Right? So now we're up 522 ticks. And I'm pointing out with the arrow, that's 412. We're getting even closer. So I'm up 570 ticks and 578, and we're out at 570 ticks. So this trade here, I traded 4 micros on this, which is $1 a tick on the first two. That's 80 bucks. And then this one here was 570. So that's 570 and $80. It's $650 on this one trade, which is huge, trading only 4 micros. You can trade more micros. You can trade as many as you want. You can trade the full size contract if you want. I don't. I just trade micros because the stops are kind of big. but it works very well. And we get a lot of really nice trades off of it. Okay, so that's it. So this is the equity curve on the revolutions for 2021 and 2022. Now I lost all my data for 2023, but here's what it did last year. So last year it did a roughly about $44,000. Just the Revo MNQ swing trade. You know, we started off really good, had a really nice burst up, and just kind of a steady climb all year long. Yeah, if we take some losing trades, of course. Anybody that tells you that they never take losing trades, I suggest you do one thing: run. Run as fast as you can, because there's nobody that never takes losing trades. Okay, so that's another screenshot of that. All right, so let's keep moving on. How to pass the evaluations. It's kind of a sticky subject because most people think it's all about their trading system. It's not. I have two friends. My friend Steve works for a brokerage firm, and my friend John is a floor trader. So I spoke to my friend John and I asked him, John, how do floor traders make money? I said, do they really concern themselves on, hey, you know, I got to make 1,000, I got to make 2,000 every day? He said, absolutely, positively not. He said, you know what floor traders do? They focus on trading well. They focus on their risk. They don't focus. So that's what I mean by don't focus on the carrot. Don't focus on how much money you can make. Focus on how much money you could lose. And if you let that sink into your head a little bit, you'll see what I'm talking about. Professional traders, they worry about how much they could lose every day. And you know what? And he said to me, he says, you'll be surprised. The profits will take care of themselves. So if you focus on trading well, focus on your following your system, your methodology, whatever you're trading with, focus on that. I hate when people say, gee, David, I need to make at least 300 every day. I'll be happy if I make 300 every day. I said, okay, but that's not the right way of looking at it. And they're like, why isn't that the right way of looking at it? I said, because you're putting pressure on yourself because you need to make 300 every day. I said, what if you're in a market and the markets are really choppy, and and in your head you're thinking, I need to make 300 every day. I need to make 300 every day. I need to make 300 every day. What's going to happen is you're going to start forcing trades. You're going to start losing money. You're going to start getting frustrated, and you're going to throw the baby out with the bathwater and start looking for the next system. That's the wrong way to look at it. You need to look at it as follow your system. If you have a good system, look, I've been trading with the money flow tracker for the last 4.5 years. I don't look at anything else. I don't have anything else. This is all I trade with. Let me show you something really quick. And I don't usually do this, but I'm going to show you really quick. Where is it? This is what we did last year. Here's my equity curve from last year. We did a little over $120,000 last year. Okay? And all we did was follow the system and trade the system the way it was meant to be traded. Do we have some losses? Absolutely. Everybody has losses. That's part of trading. So, you know, the challenges or evaluations or whatever your particular prop firm calls them are really designed to make you fail because of certain parameters they put in place, like how many trading days to pass, the trailing drawdown. Now, the trailing drawdown is the biggest part why most people fail. But, you know, this is my process, and this is the way I trade. So if you think that you sign up with Apex or Buell Knox or Top Step or whatever for a $50,000 account and that's what you're trading, you're wrong. You're not. You're trading your drawdown. So if you have a $2,500 drawdown, that's what you're trading. So my process is I don't risk any more than 10% of my drawdown on any one trade. So my max risk is $250 on every single trade. So if I want to trade NQ and we have a 40 tick stop, I can't trade NQ. I have to trade MNQ, and I have to adjust my size to keep myself within my risk parameter. Now, your win rate versus reward, if you are a one-to-one trader, which means you're risking $1 to make $1. You need to be 60% profitable to make any money. If you're a 2-to-1 trader, okay, it drops drastically. So if you're a 2-to-1 trader, you could be wrong 60% of the time and still make money. Let that sink in. You could be wrong more than 60% of the time and still make money. Look, this is what I was last year, 70.19, and this is what we are this year. I think it's going to be 75.01. So we're at a 75% win rate, but look at our profit factor, 2.75. That means for every dollar I risk, I'm making $2.75. So I'm in between 2-to-1 and 3-to-1, but let's say I was closer to 3-to-1. I could be wrong 7 out of 10 trades and still make money. So let that think in. Let that sink in, okay? Most professional traders are only 40% win rate. So rather than avoid risk, take intelligent risk. And this would give you a competitive edge, just like this little mouse here. Now, he wants that piece of cheese. And he's aware of his risk. He's aware that this thing might cut loose and hit him in the head. So what did he do? He put on his helmet and he took intelligent risk. I love this little guy. He's my buddy. All right, so now you have 2 choices. You could do nothing and continue on your current path. And if you're making money, God bless you, and keep doing it. But for most of you that are here, I would imagine the second option would be more for you. You can take action today. Look, we trade from 9:30 in the morning till 11, okay, in the room. So the Money Flow Tracker software trading system, the benefits and the features. It's easy to learn, perfect for beginners. I wish that I had this when I was a beginner. I would have saved a small fortune. Let me put it that way. More than tens of thousands of dollars. It's perfect for any account size. I have traders that just trade micros and they're happy with that. And I have a couple of traders that trade 30, 40, and 100 contracts at one time. And it's good. You could trade futures. You can trade Forex with it. You could trade stocks. You could trade options off the stock signals. So for the first 10 traders that come aboard, we have some additional software plus more. So the first thing you'll get as part of your package would be the market scanner. Now this is my market scanner. I'm pulling it down because I use universal bars and this screenshot is in minutes. So basically all this is telling you is that, hey, for instance, on CL, we traded 2-5-10 bar. It's flat. Okay, I don't need to look at it. NQ, we traded 8-20-40 bar. It says flat. We don't need to look at it. So it just gives us a guide. Doesn't mean that we have a setup. It just tells you, go look at it. You might have something going on here. All righty. You'll get this part of your package, $9.99 value. It's included. You'll get the NDT. Now this is what we use. It's a strategy, and this is what we use to enter our trades. So when I say sell on down close or buy on up close, this is what we use. This is where you put your ATM. This is where you put your account. That's a $14.99 value. You'll get that. You'll get the Masterclass series on futures, forex, stocks, and options. Now, I've watched these. These are excellent. I've learned a lot from these. You'll get 1 month in my trade room as part of your package. Now, our trade room were part of a study by this Dr. Victor Allen. And in his study, he reviewed more than 225 trading websites and evaluated them using several factors, including transparency, proven track record, and assisting traders with educational materials and online support. And we came out on the top. And this was published in Traders World and Stock and Commodities magazine. So this is a special deal that we're giving you. We're giving you 50% off everything. On the quarterly, it's $5.96 a quarter. Normally, it's $11.92. Yearly subscription is $14.96 a year. Normally it's $29.92, and a lifetime is $19.96. Normally it's $39.92. These are great deals. If you can do the lifetime, that's the best deal. If you do the annually, that's the second best deal. The only difference between the quarterly and the annually, and the lifetime is you get 3 months in the room, and these you only get 1 month in the room. Okay, so this is a great deal. Don't let it pass you by. So here's my commitment to everybody when they subscribe. When you subscribe to the Money Flow Tracker software, is to help you become a successful trader. Remember, if you're not successful, it's not your fault. Again, if you're not successful, it's not your fault. It's just you're not using the right tools to be successful. You know, the analogy I always use is trying to pound a nail into a piece of wood with a screwdriver. Yeah, if you sit there long enough, you'll probably get it in that. But if you use the hammer, the right tool, 1, 2, 3 shots in it, it's in and you're done. And trading is no different. The problem that most people lose, why people lose money, is because they're trading along with retail traders. And we know that retail traders, 90% of them lose money. Why would you want to trade with them if you know they lose money? The Money Flow Tracker software is totally unique and will give you that edge to trade with institutional order flow. Okay, institutional order flow. You want to trade along when the institutions are trading because they are the ones that move the market. You know, again, my commitment to you is to teach you not how to read just the setups, but also help you. You know, I could teach a 5-year-old to read the setups. It's not that hard. But to help you develop that mental mindset you must have in order to achieve financial independence. You have to have that mental mindset when you're trading. Okay, so what do I mean by that? It means that if you have a losing trade, you can't get all pissed off. You can't get all aggravated. You can't say, oh, this software doesn't work, or this or that. You just have to let it go because it's part of trading. It's called trading, okay? You have to accept that you're going to have losing trades. You have to accept you're going to have losing days. Okay, you accept the winning days, great, right? But if you have a losing day, you have to just let it roll off your back and say, hey, tomorrow's another day. But one thing is, don't let a losing day wipe out your account. Have a max loss. I have a max loss. If I'm down 500 for the day, I go to sim or I stop trading. And if I'm up my target, I stop trading. I know when I've won and I know when I've lost for the day. And that's how I handle my mental mindset. So if you have any questions and you would like to speak with us before you make your purchase. Now, if you want to purchase the software, if you go to your chat window, not the questions box, the chat window on the very bottom, you go to webinar screen, there's a link in there. You click on this link, it'll bring you to the Money Flow Tracker software page. All you need to do is scroll down, and if you want to do it yearly, just click sign up, and it says a coupon was already applied. You don't have to apply anything. You go down here, you can see where the 50% was taken off. Comes down to a total of $14.96, and then next year, August of 2026, you're going to pay $14.96, same price. We're not raising the price on you next year. We're not going to raise the price on you the following year. Okay, this is what you're going to pay for the next 2 years, this year and next year. And the same thing for the quarterly. So all you need to do is click on that link, or if you don't have the link, you can always go to rightlinetrading.com. Let me go ahead and get rid of this. You can always just go to our homepage and click on trading systems and Money Flow Tracker software, and it brings you to the same page. Okay. Now, if you would like to speak with us, if you have more questions, and you'd like to speak with myself or Rory after the webinar, put your phone up, your name and your phone number in the questions box, and either myself or Rory will give you a call after the webinar. Hold on one second. Rory's sending me a message. He says, I want you to thank Terry, Jacob, and Stephanie. Welcome to the Brightline Money Flow Tracker software guru, whatever they call me. I don't know what they call me. Anyways, I look forward to working with you and helping you become the trader that you want to be. So if you put your name and your phone number, and Roy said that anybody that puts their name and their phone number in the questions box, we will guarantee you'll get all the extra bonuses. All right, so look, it's a well-known fact that 95 to 98% of day traders and swing traders are losing money. Just like this guy right here, this retail trader. He's losing money. He might as well just take his money and flush it down the toilet. My buddy Steve that works at a brokerage firm, he says, we love it when retail traders open up a 10 or 15 or $5,000 account. I said, well, what do you mean? He says, because we know that that money will be gone within a month. Maybe a little longer, maybe a little less. But he said, the guppies will pay. And that's what professional traders, institutional traders call retail traders. They feed off the guppies. That's how they make their money, but not our traders, because our traders are taking the money along with the institutional trader from the retail trader. So if the retail trader is losing money, somebody's making money on the other side. Whether it's another trader, whether it's a brokerage firm or whatever it is, somebody else is making money. So our traders are making money because we trade along with institutional money flow. So I'm always asked, how do we know when institutions are trading? Well, this is not, the markets are closed right now, so this isn't moving. But this number on the bottom right, this is a counter. It counts how many contracts are going through the market every minute. Every minute it changes back to zero. So on YM, when we have 300, 350 contracts per minute, we know institutions are trading. We know they're trading. When we have 100 or 80 or 70 or whatever, we know they're not trading this market right now. It's all retail traders. So that's how we know when institutions are trading. Okay, so again, for a quarterly subscription, 50% off is $596. For a yearly subscription, 50% off is $14.96. And if you do the lifetime, it's $19.96. That's 50% off the normal price. This is a reel of a bunch of our clients and customers that use the Money Flow Tracker software, but I like to highlight this particular woman because she has a friend. She was in a webinar just like you are with me. And she has a friend that is a trader and is in my trade room. And she wanted him to help her teach her how to trade with the Money Flow Tracker software. And he told her, look, contact Mark at Rightline and ask him if he'll help you. So he said yes. So she went to the office and she's like, right here, Rightline for Image, all the charts and software I wanted, and Mark taught me things. So she went to the office and Mark sat her down in front of a computer and taught her the setups. And for 4 months, she sat there. And when she got everything lined up with a green background, she hit buy on up close. When everything was lined up with a dark pink background, she clicked on down close. Well, to make a long story short, she did that for 4 months. And now she's a 6-figure trader. And she's never traded before. And she started with the Money Flow Tracker software. And I spoke to her on the phone and I asked her, do you trade every day? And her answer was to me, she goes, Mr. David, if I have no setup, I have no trade, period. I said, okay, that's what we do. You know, she was very adamant about that. This is a review that Barry gave us on Trustpilot, and he says, I've been trading for over 25 years, and I can honestly say the Money Flow system is one of the smartest tools I've added to my toolbox. The layout of a single chart gives me everything I need at one glance, and which is true, because if you look at this chart here, I can tell you that I have 3 time frames in agreement With this green background, I don't need to look at 3 charts. I only need to look at 1 chart. Right here, I know that I have 3 times in the frames in agreement in the downtrend. So, you know, it makes life a lot easier. You look at 1 chart, you don't have to look at all the, and you know what's going on the other charts for what's telling you on your trading time frame. One more, this was a guy that was in a webinar, maybe about 1.5 years already. And he started with me, and he sent me a message in the questions box, and he says, I'm the world's worst trader. I make money, I lose money. I'm thinking of quitting trading, but I like what I see. If I sign up, will you help me? I said, absolutely, I help you. Anybody that signs up, I help. So he wrote here, I started watching David's trading room every morning, learned the trading methodology and more important rules for trading. We only take specific setups. When we follow the rules, we have a success rate around 70%. I have 7 accounts at Apex and 7 accounts at FuelNox. Well, now he has 20 accounts at Apex, 10 accounts at FuelNox, and a bunch of accounts some other place. Anyway, and then it goes on and says, the money flow tracker software, along with David's methodology and rules for trading, allow me to act like a robot and eliminate any guesswork or emotions from my trading. We use the entry tool called the NDT, which I just showed you, which allows a single push button to enter the trade when we see the correct setup. Following the rules every day, he looks at it as simple. See the setup, push the button. See the setup, push the button. See the setup, push the button. So if he doesn't have a setup, he doesn't push the button. A couple of weeks ago, he sent me this message. Plus $4,265, only traded 4 accounts that day. I could ring the bell, and this was at 10:36, so he traded for 1 hour and 6 minutes, made $4,265. And this is a guy that told me he was the world's worst trader in the world. So again, this is what our special offer is. These are great deals. These are great prices. $596 for quarterly. Why don't we do a monthly? Because if you can't commit, see, this is what I tell everybody. If you're going to subscribe, be committed to it for at least a year. If you want to start out with the quarterly, fine. It's up to you. If you want to do the yearly, be 110% committed. Say, this is what, okay, so this is what I did when I first saw the software 4.5 years ago. I said to myself, this is the last thing I'm buying. I'm not spending not a 1 rent cent more. If I can't be a successful trader trading with this system, which is super easy to learn, very clear, then I need to go look for something else to do. Well, 4.5 years later, now I'm doing webinars and running a trade room for Rightline because I was doing so well that they asked me if I would be interested in doing that and coaching people. So I love teaching people, I love coaching people, so I said yes. So again, I encourage you, if you have any questions or you would like to speak with us, put your phone number, your name and your phone number in the questions box, and either myself or Rory will give you a call after the webinar, and you can ask as many questions as you'd like. You know, sometimes it's hard to answer everybody's questions when you're doing a 1-hour webinar. So, and sometimes people have a lot more questions than I have time to answer. So that's all I got. Any questions? I can answer questions now if you want, but I'm going to show you something here, why you don't have to trade every day to make money. All right, so look at this. Let's just go back to, I don't know, let's pick a day, a month that we don't have, that we had a lot less trade. So May, June, we didn't trade 1, 2, only 4 days. June was pretty good. July. All right, so look at July. Look, we didn't trade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in July. What did we do in July? $13,834. Okay, but look at this month. Look at this month. Which I think it was, what was it last year when we had the hurricanes? I'll know it if I see it. There we go. October last year. So look, October last year, we didn't trade 1, 2. I live in Central Florida. So we had Hurricane Helene, the 9th, the 10th, and the 11th. And then we had Hurricane Milton come across the state a week later. Didn't trade the 17th and 18th. But look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 out of 20 trading days we didn't trade in October. October, we did $11,511. And we didn't trade 8 trading days. So the software is amazing. I trade with it every day, and I've been trading with it every day for the last 4 years. And I've had the best 4 years of my trading career. So I just want to thank everybody for attending my webinar. I hope you learned something. I look forward to working with the people that already signed up, and I'd like to see a lot more of you sign up. You won't be sorry. The software is amazing. And the thing that I love about it the most is it keeps me out of the markets when the markets are choppy and not trending. It keeps me out. And there are lots of days like that lately. The markets have been very, very tough to trade. This summer hasn't been like last summer. Last summer was great. We had a great summer last summer. And I guess the expectations were we were going to have a great summer this summer. Well, we've done okay. We haven't had a great summer, but we've done okay. Put it that way. We've made money every month. Actually, I don't even think that we've never had a losing month. And this is for this year. We haven't had a losing. We've had losing weeks. It's hard to find some. This week we lost $256. This was 3 days. We lost $260 that week, but we ended up still making money for the month. Just this summer, we did good in June. In July, we thought it's okay, but it's not like it was last year. What are the 3 additions to the software? I don't understand what you mean, Antonio. Can you maybe be a little more specific? What are the extras that you get with this purchase? Is that what you mean? You get the auto trader. You get the market analyzer. Let me go back. Okay, let's see. You get the market scanner. You get the NDT. You get the masterclass series. Why isn't the auto trader? You get the auto trader. I don't know why it's not in here. It says it here. You get the money flow tracker system, the Revo order trading system, market scanner, 1 month access in the trade room. Look, the auto trader is worth the price by itself. Okay, it's worth the price by itself. Last year we did $43,000 with the auto trader. So, all right. So I look forward to working with all the people that signed up, and I hope that some of you decide to sign up also, because I'd like everybody to be a successful trader. That's my goal, is to make everybody in my room a successful trader, and probably 98% of them are, and the other 2% are fairly new. So thanks for attending. Have a great evening, morning, afternoon, depending on where you are, and take care, and God bless everybody. Bye-bye.